All right, welcome back to the Leeds View. Last week we previewed that this might be a bit of a banana skin, the Huddersfield game, and so it proved to be. We're here with Steve to get his view on that particular game and also look ahead to the Friday night fixture at Hillsborough. How are you, Steve?
Yeah, Mark, I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. First of all, let's get the elephant out of the room. Was the referee poor?
Do you know what? It shows it's difficult to be a referee in that game, doesn't it? I mean, the game probably 10 minutes in, you could have lumped your mortgage on there being a red card in that first half. It was one of those games, and I don't mind them, but it could have got away from him quite quickly. But you know what? It generally did make the right calls. We could have maybe seen her sending off the tackle. I think it was Pearson on Somerville. But Jonathan Hogg had got two bookings, and it were time for him to go. And I'll be honest with you, it really was a bad one from him, because I think if he'd have managed to stay on the pitch, to got to half time, maybe shored it up a little bit, I think they turned the sort of momentum of the game their way. So that really did help us out at that moment in time, him actually getting sent off. We knew what we was going to face in the second half. They were going to park the bus, and you know what team wouldn't there. So
Okay.
yeah, a tough first half for everyone to watch. Never mind neutrals, Leeds fans, and the rest of us. It were a tough one.
Okay, we're recording this before the Stoke game, so we don't know the result of that. But going into Sheffield Wednesday, there's been a lot of chat, Steve, about Leeds' midfield and it needing a bit of a shake-up, and actually people coming into it. Let's talk about Amps, because there's lots of chat on Twitter about the need for Amps to return to midfield. Roberts going to right back, and some people are even questioning Somerville. We'll come on to that one in a second. Who is the best central midfield for Leeds at this current time that should easily get your start above all others?
Really good question. It's really difficult to look. I mean, just on talent and ability, I'm Archie Gray all day long. He will be a centre midfielder. He's going to be that in the future. I do see the opportunity to maybe move him inside and put Roberts at right back. But let's not get too carried away. You know, we're still 10 games unbeaten, 28 out of 30 with Kamara and Gruev in the midfield, who have had some of the best passing stats the club's had. I don't know about the rest of the Championship. But Ampadu has played fantastically well at the back with Rodon, especially in the absence of Pascal Stroik. But that's a good thing, right? There's good options there to put Ampadu in there or to put Gray in there. Kamara did have a bit of a dodgy game on Saturday. He looked a little bit behind, and it just maybe a second in thought behind it. I do think we'll see a couple of tweaks this week with the Stoke game and Sheffield Wednesday. But yeah, the midfielder for me is Archie Gray.
Okay. How do you respond to this? That there are some fans saying that Somerville hasn't had a good game since the turn of the year. And one even added Rutter into that as well. Can you see where they're coming from?
I mean, I guess if you look at the goal contributions and assists, they'll have slowed down slightly to what they were at the start of the season. But with them two on the pitch, they just occupy so many defenders. They occupy the space. They're always trying a flick or a trick, which can be frustrating for the fans at times. But I'd always rather that than someone just wanting to check in inside and play it safe. Somerville as well, we probably don't ask this question if he doesn't hit the post in those last couple of minutes at Huddersfield. It was a really, really unlucky effort. But we do need to be able to rely on the other lads in the team as well. You know, Dan James just coming back from injury, he looked good when he came on against Huddersfield, and I do think he'll come back into the team this week.
All right, let's get your prediction then for Sheffield Wednesday, and then we're going to ask you for your February Player of the Month. What do you reckon for this trip to for another Yorkshire derby? So another Friday night as well, which Leeds love playing on a Friday night, don't you? This year you've not you've won the last few.
We'll have a different podcast on that, Mark, about Sky TV putting us on Friday evenings. But no, yeah, it's going to be a tough game. It's a Yorkshire derby. They're on a good run of form as well at the moment. So with all due respect, so are we though, right? We've 9 wins out of 10. Yeah, we dropped points against Huddersfield, but I do think we'll bounce back after that result. So I do expect a tight and cagey affair, but one that I think will edge. So I'm tempted to go 2-0, but a part of me's just got this feeling it's going to be a really tight game. So I'll go 1-0 Leeds.
Okay. And your February player of the month before we let you go?
Yeah, I was thinking about this, obviously. I'm going to go Willie Gnonto. I think after quite a bit of a stop-start season for him, being quite turbulent, he came in February in the absence of Dan James, who got injured. Got a really vital goal against Bristol City that I really think just lifted his confidence. Got a couple of goals against Swansea and in the rest of the games as well, has just done really well, offered a new threat and occupied defenders more so than perhaps some of the other players have. So, yeah, for February, I'll go Willie Gnonto.
No, nice one. Who'd have thought that and all the Everton rumours in the start of the season? All right, nice one. Thanks, Steve, for joining us. We'll catch up with you next week as Leeds go marching on. Nice one.
All right. See you later, Mark. Ta-ra.